Hello and welcome. Good morning. If you're celebrate, happy Easter. Hope you're having a beautiful day. My name is Julianne Duffy, and you are joining me for my weekly uh, energy forecast. And we're looking for at the week coming. So from today, April 5th, till April 12th of 2026. So when I do these readings, we're looking at a combination of the numerology, the elements, as well as the Vedic and the Western astrology to see what overlaps. And then we're going to look at how this might affect you, as well as how to make it through this time period. Is that all you see?
That's the website address.
Oh, I already have it up.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, you didn't hear it. My producer didn't hear me that I had found what I was looking for. But we will get right into it. One thing to start off, if you have not, please do like, share, and subscribe. And if you are looking for some more guidance through the month of April, I do have my April Clarify Your Direction guide here. I'll just bring this up so you can take a look. And that is in the link in the description here, as well as at my store, breathe-within-yoga-shop.fourthwell.com. And then under my guides and downloads, you'll get this one. This is the April guide, and it helps you just put a plan in place of how to make it through this month and some of the important dates that you might find useful. So that I wanted to promote before we get started, that this is a great option if you're looking for a little bit more assistance as we go forward in the month of April. And I also do have a 6-month guide, which was March till August. So you can kind of see how the 6 months are, how they're going to turn out. And today is a really interesting day. Today, if it started, now I'm actually on the East Coast, but I'm even farther than the East Coast. I'm in Atlantic Canada, so I'm ahead of East Coast hours. So I started here today at 12:11 p.m. because it's already noon here. And it is not very spring-like. It's more spring than some other parts of Canada, but it's a chilly time. So it'll be interesting because I can definitely feel the energy out here is sluggish. It's cold. We got a little bit of snow overnight. So just trying to get moving, feeling kind of blah. But by the time the energy changes later this afternoon into the evening, there's going to be a lot of epiphanies, a lot of really positive energy that's going to go forward. So that'll be exciting to see. And if you do want to know how this is going to affect you, as you might see, I'm going to plug in my computer so it doesn't die here. Right here, let me edit this. I will give you, we're doing the visibility engine. I won't edit this in today, but in my link and description, you'll also see my app that I have been developing, which goes through all the numerology, astrology elements. And again, we're highlighting what themes are. You can ask questions. It's got so much in it. I could spend hours talking about it. I'm working on the back end, but that can get you a lot more detailed information of how the energies affect you specifically. So you can try out to be a beta tester. I have a little questionnaire. If you're too lazy to do the questionnaire, then I don't even want you as a beta tester. On that, let's get started. So we're looking at the week starting today, Sunday, April 5th, Easter Sunday, until next Sunday, April 12th, which I will come again live at that point. But what we're going to see overall, I want to summarize the week, especially when we go through the elements. Early in the week, like today and tomorrow, we're starting with a lot more water. So this is our emotional depth, intensity, a lot of knowing and perceptive awareness. So just kind of that inner knowing idea, a desire to understand what is lying beneath the surface. As we continue going Monday into Tuesday, we get more into the fire energy. So it's more of the expansive vision. So there's things we really want to create. A lot of philosophical energy. So a lot of contemplating, right? Like philosophically looking at what is this reality. And that's interesting because I watched a video just as I was getting ready, and it was somebody who's like, it's really difficult for them to function because of how they now perceive reality. And they perceive reality that everything doesn't really make sense, which is actually a good way to perceive it, is that things don't actually make sense. And this lady goes on a ramble about who just names these streets? Who just names this? Who just decided it was going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? It's all make believe because somebody had to make it up. And it was interesting because we've been traveling and we've been traveling pretty consistently now for over 2 years. And certain parts of North America, there's so many places called the same names. And they're not even that far, like, especially when you're driving like 3, 4, 5 hours and you go past a community in northern Maine that has the Salisbury, and then you go into New Brunswick, into Canada. So because there's also New Brunswick in Maine and in some of the northern states there, they'll have places called New Brunswick. But when you get into Canada, New Brunswick, there's another Salisbury, and then you're like, why? Like there was no uniqueness. Everything's named the same. Like how many Springfields there is in the world. So it just gets into the philosophical. I can't even say that word today. Pretend like I did. Energy. So like that philosophical thought process, contemplating that type of energy, which we could just talk about names, really, and that can just lead to a rabbit hole alone. We also have early week to midweek, a lot of openness to possibility, meaning, and adventure. So we're going to feel collectively like there is a major reset. This is what comes up this week. It's like we're ready to go forward. We're done where we've been. We want to look for solutions is what I really get the energy is, which we'll definitely dive into a little bit more. By mid to late week, we're going into more earth. So it's like grounding energy, practical. How do we build this new stuff? How do we get those structures in place and putting the planning into order? By the end of the week, we're in air, that element, which is forward thinking, expanding. So again, we want the practical steps, but we want to go forward with what we want to create. I think a lot of us, I know for myself, are tired. We feel like we've been stuck. It's like whining, stuck. We physically got stuck in Joshua Tree where our truck was almost at 90 degrees, where the tires were just digging a hole in the sand and our truck was going upright. And then you realize, okay, that's not working. We need to forward think. How do we get ourselves out of that, right? So sometimes we have to step back, but we're ready to move on. We don't want to keep digging this hole where we've already seen where the potential it's digging this hole deeper isn't going to help us. We want newer ideas, new and forward thinking. So that is really the flow of the week. So truths, perception, heightening at the early week, midweek. We are getting inspirations even more than practicality. Like we know what's practical and what's worked before, but now we want to see different. We want our inspirations to also be practical, right? So what do we want to change to make it roll out in this realm? And then by the end of the week, we've got Aquarius energy, which is the perspective, clarity, and we're going to see some new collective themes starting to emerge, which is this idea of broader meaning, things that are going to actually matter to us. So I think that that's really the expansion energy underneath all of it. So let's jump in. Where we're going to start is today, so Sunday and Monday. So Sunday, April 5th, Easter Sunday here, and going into Monday. So we'll start with the numerology. For this week, we're getting a fresh beginning because we've got universal numerology 1 to 2. So fresh beginning, independence, new direction. That's what we're going to feel, especially today, Sunday. Later on in the day, that's when this energy really starts to expand into that. And then we move into the universal day 2 tomorrow for Monday, which gets into more receptive, relational. It's encouraging people to work with other people, partnerships, attunement, and also how our actions affect and complement others. So it's that reflective point. How do our actions affect other people, and being more aware of that? That is actually how you level up, as I talked about last week with the idea with karma versus the learning of graciousness and gratitude, and how when we start to reflect and see and feel from a different person perspective, that's actually how we level up. That's how our soul learns. So we're really touching on that in the collective under the numerology over Sunday and Monday. The elements we've got in the Western astrology, we're going Scorpio to Sagittarius, and in the Vedic, we've got Libra going into Scorpio. So we've got a combination of the air, water, fire. So the ideas and then the emotions with it, but then ready to do the new. So it's all that same kind of energy that we're talking about in the numerology. Now, when we get into the Vedic and we start to dig into that a little bit more, the moon is in Libra that moves into Scorpio. So, what that really is going to help us do, it's balance, relationships, and a desire for harmony. So, when we get into it, the Scorpio takes hold and energy deepens. So, what we might feel, especially as we get into Monday, because we move into Scorpio on earlier. So we were like now today. Now at this point, we're probably most of us are in Scorpio under the Vedic. So a lot of people are going to feel a shift, seeking outer balance to confronting inner truths. So yeah, we want to see the balance outside. However, I think it's a lot of us realizing we can only change our own actions and we can only change things that we can physically do, right? So we're seeking outer balance. We want things to make sense outside of us. However, that's not necessarily how that's going to work because it's really going to be like these inner truths that are going to help us project more balance. I know that's the more that we get balanced, the more that projects into our reality. So we're seeing desires, shadows, hidden emotional currents begin to surface, and with a greater intensity. So these things that we were hiding that have not been dealt with are going to be harder and like they've been more and more apparent and more difficult to deny. And that's going to continue. What is interesting is the Western energy and the Western astrology also cover this. So they've got the moon going from Scorpio, which is emotional awareness, perceptive depth into Sagittarius, where people may find an internal shift focused inward and a desire for meaning within freedom and possibility. So it's that inner truth on both levels, right? So it's a desire for meaning, freedom, possibilities, as well as, and depending on who you are and what you're doing with the work, you might have more the shadows, the emotional currents, or they might be the same and overlap. So it's very interesting because that is definitely how it overlaps through Sunday and Monday. So really combined, it's emotional awareness into inner truth, opening into an expansive vision. So today, Sunday into Monday, we're going into a bigger, expansive idea. We want to it's personal reckoning or emotional realization, which evolves into something that we start to explore, growth, or seek higher understanding and meaning for. So a lot of people will feel a shift from deeply thinking to wanting to go bigger and expansive. And that's actually really refreshing because we are very fearful of going outside of our comfort zone, which it did come up this past week that there was a lot of things about where the biggest growth and where we got to get more comfortable is in the discomfort. Start to embrace that change is the consistent. That is how we're going to make it through it. And so if we're really been working on these things, we're going to feel like there's the limitations we might have believed that might still have some validity, but the more we're working through, we'll find those limitations don't have the power that they used to, if that makes sense. Because often we stop taking steps because of perceived limitations. Like I don't have enough money, or I don't have this, or I don't have whatever that perception is. And then interesting, something can shift and suddenly those objections, those things we were using, that perception of limitations is no longer the same. And it can even just be the way you see things, right? And I know like the way I've seen money has dramatically changed in my life too. How I used to be when I worked in banking to how I am now, and how the perception and the energy has changed. I can feel it in my own body. And that's the only way I can describe it is it's that growth that you feel at a level where it just does not trigger you to react or feel the same way about things. So Sunday, Monday, emotional truths are opening to visionary expansion. So you've got that truth, you've digested that truth, and now you're expanding and you're seeing the greater picture of it. That is what we're going to see today, Sunday, going into Monday. And especially with Scorpio's depth and a Sagittarius fire, it creates a powerful container for feeling, raw feelings to go forward into momentum. We're ready to take steps. We feel like it's spring, the spring in the air, right? The bounce, the bounce. So what we might see today, Sunday and Monday on the collective, what we might imagine we're going to see is a lot of people coming to clarity and in an unexpected moment, like, oh, I finally get this, or finally that motivation, or finally that clicking of where they should start putting their energy. For each person, it's going to be different. And you might have gotten those messages through a book or through music. We were getting that last week. There's a lot of messages coming through those type of channels. We might also imagine on the collective, on the whole, that there is a big desire, a strong desire to act on insights that we've been determining. So things that we've been like, okay, I really need to do. We're finally maybe going to get that fire lit under our butt to go forward with it, right? That desire, we're going to start to see people wanting to take the steps that, I talk to a lot of people that are like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And they're just like in that dream mode, which is great. You've got to dream things to want to have that motivation, but now it's going to be that act, that desire to act, finding some way to start taking steps in that direction. We might also see collectively conversations are shifting from a personal perspective into inspiring visions and possibilities. So bringing up the possibilities of what you can do. Again, that limitation, I feel like we're really trying to get past these program limitations and beliefs. That's how I feel that this really shows up. So that personal processing, oh, I can't do this, this is too scary or whatever, is now, no, this is possible. I can do this. This is real. That idea. Many will feel a sense of renewal as heaviness gives way to expansive thinking. So that's what we're definitely going to feel for today going into Monday, is that renewal. The heaviness starts to give way. We're seeing clearly a lot more possibilities than maybe we did 24 hours ago. That type of idea. Now in our personal lives, as we continue on it, same kind of energies. So we might imagine that we have to make a decision on something that we haven't made a decision on. So again, if we've been avoiding something, we're going to be forced into making a decision or really feel the energy behind that. Also, we might imagine in our personal lives having honest, clear conversations about unexpected, which creates unexpected relief. So we're being just honest, telling people how we feel, and it actually helps us just talking about it. And it's probably because those people are also going through a variation of what you're feeling, because everyone's feeling similar, but in completely different ways, because how this shows up in our lives is all different, but we're all feeling very similar energies. So that talking about it and being open and honest is going to help just be like, wow, it gave me clarity. That really made me feel better. I felt like I could release it. That type of aha may be what comes up in your life. Now, we might also imagine bursts of enthusiasm or vision after a period of introspection. So I know I've been very introspective. I've been very much considering how things work, and I'm looking forward to my enthusiasm burst, because there's things that I've taken breaks from, and then now I need to get back on to do. So I feel like my life, that's how that's going to feel or manifest out, but it'll probably be something different, probably completely different, because how this all manifested out is we got a third flat tire driving on this trip and 10 minutes from our final destination, right? So it's just like, okay, what is this learning? Well, what's learning? My husband's getting better and better and better at changing our trailer tires, and we're I'm just going to say, we're very lucky that every time this happens, even though it's like where it happened on this road, there was nowhere to turn off. I was really close to a turn off that I knew wasn't busy. So I could get onto that ramp. And just as my complete tire wore down and I was on the metal rims, I only left a little bit of metal rims as we got to an area that was somewhat safe. So the best of the worst. And this time we had a backup tire because we had 2 blowouts back to back and didn't even have enough time to get a spare. This time we had a spare, and it only put us out like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. How does it work? It's learning to adapt and learning to get better and better at those type of situations. So we're moving forward. We're having those bursts of enthusiasm, and we've been introspective. I'm looking forward to those births. And we might also in our personal life feel the natural desire to move forward with clarity and confidence, right? That we know this. And in fairness, I guess our desire, we're going to move forward more confident. My husband can fix any balloon tire. We just need only one at a time. And then we're going to limit that, there's not very long between when we get another tire. Please don't have more than one tire. It's obviously, that's the energy for us is tire blowouts for this trip. Now, how to make it through Sunday and Monday, so Easter Sunday with this enthusiasm, this desire to go forward, all this energy, which is really going to feel like we've got that spring boost. That's how I feel like that's going to show up. But how we imagine we make it through today and tomorrow, honor your emotional truths. When you feel good, when you feel sad, like being okay with having those emotions, recognizing them and even noticing them. What surfaces earlier in the day, notice, acknowledge it. It's going to have a lot of help to help you move into action as we go into late Sunday and into Monday. So that's how that energy will flow. Also, how to make it through, imagine insights from your inner world. So this introspection, the things you've been contemplating, they become the fuel to your next inspired step. So they just kind of like start to help you go forward, because all that contemplation, that even if it wasn't super deep, just having some reflective moments is going to assist you going forward. Allow yourself to stay open to conversations that challenge and expand your perspective. So we've seen this theme. I've said it now last 2 weeks, and I'll say it again. When you're presented with new informations, can you handle it? Do you get butthurt, right? Like, are you able to be like, okay, let's take this in. I don't have to digest it, but can I see if there's any validity to it? Can I be open to having these conversations? Can we look and talk as civil beings and civil adults, having conversations where maybe we don't see the same thing exactly, but we have a common ground? And that is really the key for Sunday, Monday, right? Is being open to these conversations, and there's something you're going to take away. It may validate your opinion. It may make your opinion maybe less valid, but you're going to expand through those. So be open to these conversations, especially if they do trigger and you feel you want to shut down or argue. That's actually a really good lesson, that this is something you need to hear more in whatever way. You'll figure out what you need to hear from it, whether it is just to give you clarity that your perspective is even more valid, or clarity that maybe there is weaknesses in your perspective, or anywhere in between, right? And then the last and not least, to help make it through today, Sunday and Monday, is begin articulating visions or directions that you had been formulating quietly on the side. So things you've been thinking about, it's time to start talking about them and start to use that throat chakra, that manifestation. I talked about this, I think it was last week, because we're going to that manifestation period. Last week was a huge energy, or the week before, where we were literally going through the manifestation cycle. So now it's really about talking and speaking your visions into the world. And before we pull the card, I do have to tell you guys, like, if you want to speak your vision into this world and you've got something to share, this is something I would highly recommend you check out. This is what my husband and I are doing to help people get their messages out. People need to hear their message. You need to be seen. We talked about this last week. It's coming up. We're wanting to be seen more. And this is why I've got the visibility engine little thing under my name there, is we have developed, my husband and I, doing this, starting from scratch. How do you become visible? We have to be visible. That's how you stay relevant. That's how your message gets heard. That's how you find your people, whether it's your business, it's a message you have in your business, or not even in a business, but you want to be an influencer. I don't even like that. I don't even think influencing is the right word, but just there to share your message. So we've been replaying the webinar So you can always check it out here. You can go sign up and we'll send you the link directly. So you can definitely do that. Or let's see if I can, because now I have too many screens here. I guess that's all I can see because I don't even know which window I had it open that it's not showing me now. Woo, good times. There we go. Anyways, you can also join us for the visibility engine. This actually starts tomorrow. So we're going to be meeting with you Mondays and Thursdays. And then we always have our free public class that we live stream every Saturday. So you get 3 times a week. You'll get 2 hands-on sessions with us. And we're going to help you. The idea is you're using YouTube as your base, but the idea is to be visible and to be seen in every platform. So if you're doing really well on one platform, but you want to expand, it's about getting that in place. And this is very relevant for anybody that's coming to the point where you're now ready to start showing and sharing your vision and where you want to expand. This is the guide to help you put in a place a actionable plan. So you're going to have the steps by the 8 weeks where we're going to help you get 30 videos. So you've got those ready to be posted. Maybe you've already started posting them and you've got a plan and a structure of how you're going to continue still saying, selling your idea, product, message, whatever it is. It's to make it easy, make it part of your process, and make it that it's, so it's not this extra struggle. So you've got a great idea. You want to get heard. You want to find people. They're looking for you. You know where they're looking for you. YouTube is probably the number one. Now you might be watching me on Rumble. You might see me on Substack, Facebook. I believe it does eventually get to Instagram after I post them, these videos. However, the idea is you want to be seen, and YouTube lets you get seen through the Google algorithms. There's so many returns on investment. If you're interested, do check out the webinar. You can register here or follow us. We're going to be replaying it again, so you've got access to it. This is going to help you go forward this week, and you're going to see as we continue through the week how this will really help. It really is going to help, especially if you've got a message that you want to share. And we want to help you get to be seen. And if there's anybody that firsthand has seen how detrimental it is to suddenly not have clients because of locality or clients just disappearing, we are very good examples of that. And then how do you exist in a world that is noisy, has a lot of AI. People are looking for authenticity. They're looking for other humans, and everybody has something to offer. The whole trick, though, is keeping yourself consistent and having realistic goals and having more ideas of why you want to do this. What is the perk? Even if you don't suddenly get 100,000 subs, why would you want to do this? You're going to build evergreen content. You're going to be able to be found when people are ready for you. You have built your library. That's the idea. And we go into it all. A really good webinar. You can even tell it was me because I even cough in the middle to make it just that little bit of imperfection that we're not AI. That were real. You can check that out. But let's pull our card for Sunday, Monday. And then you're going to see, because as I went through the week prepping, our visibility engine becomes very valid to helping people become seen. It does. It's just giving you instruction, getting it so it's going to work for each person, because each person and what your message is and what you've got to share and how you're going to be comfortable doing it is going to be a little bit different. So we want to help you have a plan and then stay focused on it and have, your goal is just keep being seen. Even if it's one person, 2 people. If you suddenly get hundreds of thousands, wonderful. But we also want you to just keep showing up. Keep showing up. So our message for today, Sunday, Easter Sunday into Easter Monday from our guides, as I'm shuffling here, show you guys. Ooh, we got tree wisdom. That's actually not too bad today. Just a little glare, because it's cloudy out. It snowed, rained. It's cold. It's cold here in Nova Scotia. Okay, tree wisdom. Our message is the tree Dyrad will help you navigate through your current situation. Her flute can reveal insights and answers through the sounds it makes. So I feel like this is also telling us, again, we might get some more messages through sound, through music, even just listening to frequencies, like some of those really good harmonious frequencies would be, in my opinion, that's like a benefit, especially if you get creative, you get the right frequency in, it can really, when your brain starts getting that crown chakra information from the higher power, God, consciousness, whatever you want to reveal, and you're getting that message and your brain starts tingling, it's a magical feeling. And everything's serendipitously looks like that should be happening. And music may be a key for you. I'm getting that to listen, but you've got the wisdom backing you up. So whatever's going to help you through this time is there to help you get through this situation. The guides are there. They're here to assist you. You just have to ask for it. That's how I feel. And that's how I'm going to take that message. Okay, let's continue into Tuesday, Wednesday, so that we're going into April 7th and 8th. And just a reminder, if you haven't, please do like, share, subscribe, so you know when I'm live and can join me each week as we review the energies of the week. Okay, so we're going to start with the numerology again, then we'll jump into the elements, and then the Vedic and Western astrology and how they overlap. So we've got Universal Day Energy 3 going into Master number 22. So that's how, which is 4, but it comes in as a master number. So Universal Day 3, which is Tuesday, brings in creativity, expression, sharing of ideas. So again, that throat chakra, that manifestation, that idea that I was talking about from today and tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. It's bringing lighter communicative energy where inspiration flows naturally. So it's a good day for a lot of information, or information and the flowing of ideas and creativity. So that might be a really good day for some frequency, especially if you find that music and sound really does help you. Frequency is wonderful. And my app does recommend that. And I've got a little bit more to work on it, but that's also, side note, be a beta tester. So that's what we're going to bring in on the Tuesday, is the communicative energy that's more inspired and naturally flows. Then we get into Wednesday, which is the 22 Master Energy Day. And this brings in the tone of high responsibility and transformative visions. So I'm saying, like, those ideas we're getting are to level us up and help us transform, especially if it's from a center where it's for not only for you, like, yeah, you want to benefit from it, it's for you and others to benefit. This is the time. This energy is highly aligned. So it invites integration, inspiration, and disciplined structure. That's also why I was talking about our visibility engine. We're giving you a disciplined structure, and it's calling people to work towards something with lasting significance. That's also what we're doing with this visibility engine, to help you have a lasting footprint, that evergreen, that people will see that you have been talking about the same thing, you've been sharing the same information. That's how you're building your authority, how you're building that connection with people, right? And so that is highly aligned, especially when we get into Wednesday, with wanting discipline, structure, and for moving forward with something that is going to last. And when you've got a structure, you start showing up and you keep doing it, it's going to last and it's going to build. So our visibility engine, join that if that is related to your goals, especially since we're doing the first class tomorrow. If you lose it, if you miss it, we will have recordings from it, but if you want some structure, you need some guidance, some help with it, you don't want to be going through this like you're blind, the blind leading the blind, which is what we did. We did that. That's how I got started. Okay, I'm just going to try this over here. Okay, I'm going to try this over here. Okay, I can commit to doing this one. This is harder for me to commit to, etc., right? Let's take out a lot of the stuff that we played around with and help give you a guided structure. So as we continue, we're getting into the elements for Tuesday and Wednesday. So we've got, in the Western astrology, the elements the moon goes Sagittarius to Capricorn, and in the Vedic, it goes Scorpio to Sagittarius. So we've got the water, fire, earth elements. So that emotion, we want the creation with the fire, the change, and then the grounding with the earth. Again, manifestation right there. The idea, to be inspired, and then to ground it. When we get into the Vedic moons, which is in Scorpio to Sagittarius. Scorpio again is bringing that depth, the intensity, that same idea, and emotional insight that we've been having. But then the Sagittarius influences start to bring a collective tone that lifts into wisdom, exploration, and a desire to connect our personal experiences to broader meaning and philosophy. I wish I could speak English better. Philosophy. There we go. Philosophy. I know in my last life I did not speak English because it's a horrible language, and I'm very sure I didn't. Wherever I was, English was not my forte. Okay, so we're getting that broader meaning, the wisdom, and the philosophy, what can be, what we're inspired to create, getting past, I believe, those limitations we've lived within for a very long time. Then the Western astrology, it's the Sagittarius bringing the optimism, the openness, the desire to expand, that expansion, that wisdom, exploration, same kind of energy. However, with the Western, the moon shifts into Capricorn, where many people are going to shift into inspired thinking. Again, it's overlapping with the Vedic and the Western, practical planning, and transition from vision to structure. So if we've got these visions, we probably have really good ideas. There's a lot of people that I know, like I mentioned, that talk about what they want to create, but you need to take that next step. What's your next step? And if it is being seen and heard, which is usually going to be important for whatever you're creating, our visibility engine is specifically designed for this time. Like it's amazing how this all worked out in this timing, and I intend it's going to help you, and then hopefully it will help us as well. So we'll see how that goes. It will help us because it's going to help you. So it will help us. Now, as we go through, the energy combined overall is really the combination of all of this, the philosophical expansion, the grounded commitment, is it encouraging us to take what we've learned, felt, and begin building something that is real, lasting, and moving from inspiration into intentional action. So it's actually intentional. It's not, we're not just thinking about it anymore. Like, thinking about it's great. We've been introspective, we've been considering things, but it really is that we want to go forward. And I'll just take a moment. Hello, my mystic. Hello, Lois King. And if my production manager can put the I am YouTube famous comment in on Facebook or YouTube, that would be great. Maybe on all of them, that would be wonderful. But let's continue. So we are moving from, it's really the inspiration into building something lasting. That is what we're here for. Help people. And so we're also going to find the practicality through Capricorn. So one other last note I wanted to make about the energies is broad possibility into focused, purposeful steps. So possibility, I've got all these great ideas, whatever I'm making, whatever I'm creating, I've got all these possibilities. Let's bring them into steps so you can be seen. Now, how we might imagine the collective as we go through Tuesday the 7th and into Wednesday the 8th. Many are going to be called to start organizing their vision. Okay, so it's been forming, and Wednesday, it's still not too late. You can join us, so you can come join us on Thursday if you get stuck, not sure, that where you need the help to help get through, to get past that. So if you're feeling called, come and check it out. We also might imagine on the collective that there's conversations of, again, the possibilities into concrete next steps. We now know the next steps. So we're seeing people go, this is what I'm going to do. I'm making this. I'm announcing it to the world that I'm going to show up and make a video, make a whatever. You're going to start actually seeing that on the collective, that a lot of people are going to start creating steps to what they want to create. Conversations we're moving from that possibility to the steps, and the focus on the structure is beginning to feel natural and supportive rather than limiting. So again, we are getting over those limiting ideas. These feel more supportive, more like we're getting our hand held. Woo! And that's what we're going to do in the visibility engine. Do, do, do. I need a little light pointer. Dance. Now, on your personal, how we might imagine making it through Tuesday, Wednesday, personally, same kind of ideas. We're going to be ready to commit in a direction where we felt uncertain. So maybe we thought it was a good idea. We've been toying with the idea, but we're now ready to commit. Visibility engine. Then some people might begin outlining their plan or project that they've been putting off. So maybe if it's not being visible, maybe it's something else. Now you're going to start making the plan. And you're also going to have the feeling of ambition and practical strategy that's aligned rather than opposing. So you want it to fit in. And this came up this last week as well with the energy about what we're committing, wanting that balance in a relationship as well as in our business. We want our relationships to merge with our business. We don't want things separate anymore. I think that was one of the biggest lies we've been sold is everything separate. Work over here, family over here, friends over here. Really, separating everything has not been very good for us. It's not. If we can have a purposeful life where our family is part of it, where our friends are part of it, and our relationships are part of it, we're going to be happier. So that is really, I think, the underlying energy of what we might see in our personal lives is just more, we want to see things aligned, not opposing each other, coming together to work together, not oppose each other. Be like, I'm fighting over here with my business, and then my wife is over here nagging about this. Well, why is a wife not part of your business? Maybe then we're also realigning how this is going to work, right? That we are not separating, we're merging together. And really, the overall for how we might feel in our personal lives is a growing desire to create something that lasts beyond the moment. This is where we want to see ourselves going. So we want to take it that, we don't, okay, great. If we get a viral video, wonderful. But we want it to last. If we're going to be viral, we want to continue being viral. But again, if you think about Mr. Beast, years and years of practice. He had to come with his own structure, his own platform, his own way of doing it, and they're constantly improving it. So we want to get you at least in a structure so you've got the heads up that you've got a plan, because that's, first off, you're beating Mr. Beast with at least some consistently and a plan, which can be fine-tuned. So that's what we're going to really feel is that desire to create something that is going to last beyond the moment. And again, if you want to be visible and get that structure, check out our webinar. And then how to make it through Tuesday, Wednesday, the 7th and the 8th. What we might do is allow the creative inspirations to flow in the day. So if we get this creative inspiration, obviously, if we're somewhere where we can't actually action it, you're not going to suddenly, I want to draw a picture. I'm just going to stop driving in the middle of the freeway and just start drawing. Clearly. But when you feel the inspirations, allow yourself to apply some structure and the creativity to flow with it. Allow yourself to also begin translating ideas and visions into the practical steps. Okay. So if you need to take the moment, this is what I want to create. This is where I am. What do I need to do in between? You might not have a written hardcore step, might have vague. Okay, well, this is kind of the first way. You might not know all the details. Then this is the next step. And then this is the next step. Don't worry about all the fine details, but we're putting the practical steps forward. And then the details are going to come as we go to hit each practical step, right? So just putting that strategy together and allowing yourself to start to get written plans and do those practical steps. Again, we can help you. Web visibility engine, starting tomorrow. And then embrace yourself in grounding your energy as a foundation for long-term growth. So again, that's also getting that perspective that it's not instant. If you get some instant success and it's in your charts to have that, wonderful. Super happy. But we also need a grounded perspective that most things always have had years and years of work, consistency, learning, going through a process to get to even a base level. Like we're consistently working on improving our base level, improving what we know, but getting a strategy to start working on with Like, what is a return on investment? You're getting seen. You're making those videos. You're ahead of the competitor or somebody else who's sharing that idea because they're not there doing their idea. Are they showing up consistently? How do you show up, right? So again, embrace the energy that wants to make those practical steps and take those ways. It's not too late to join us when you get to Tuesday, Wednesday. Join us for Thursday if you keep dragging. And the last way to make it through Tuesday, Wednesday is notice where discipline and creativity are not opposing forces, but natural partners. Where can you use your discipline and creativity to align with what you want to naturally create? And I'm going to say there's a lot of creativity in the videos, and I hear people do a lot of really good ideas, but they have to take those steps. So again, just because I feel like a broken record, get visible. Watch our webinar, why you want to do it. It's going to at least motivate you to be consistent. And you can always join us Saturdays and ask us anything, questions you're having. But if you really want to get that grounded strategic idea, get started free, sign up. You can even sign up right for our visibility engine and get us to assist you and join for tomorrow. We go live with our first session. Okay, let's pick our message for Tuesday, Wednesday, the energies from our guides. And I can hear the lovely rain wind. Maybe it's hail because there was some snow. It's beautiful. Okay, our message. Ooh, lost and found. Lost and found. So what was once lost is about to be found. Thanks to the Lost and Found Fairy. Sometimes she can help us find things we never even realized were lost. So I feel like this is a lot of our creative ideas, our inspirations, or like the lost motivation we have. It's never too late to find what was missing. And then, or if you just change matrix and your bowl went missing, like somebody I know that's watching, maybe it'll show up. It's not all, and it might just show up at a store and then you just have to rebuy it. Maybe that's the way the lost item is going to show up. But it's the idea, what was once lost is about to be found. So thanks to Lost and Found Fairies, sometimes she can help us find things we never even realized were lost. And that's sometimes that inspiration, that creativity, that going forward and ready to build, that excitement that maybe we haven't had for a very, very long time. Because in reality, life does not, once you become an adult and you start becoming an adult and adulting, any of these inspirations seem kiddish, irresponsible. Oh, following your dream, it's not responsible because you don't have this, this, and this. We're kind of being forced into a time where even if you did everything and were responsible, you're still getting the middle finger. And even if you are responsible still, you're still getting the middle finger. That's, I'm trying to do it. That is what time it is. So it's really like, is being responsible helping us at this point, right? Now, rating that for sure, some responsibility to help make sure that there's flow so you can still pay some bills. But if you're not able to pay all your bills, even though you're being responsible and you're not overspending, there's something not matching. I'm not saying, and drop your job and run away from it. I'm saying this is the time to use those inspirations that are coming up. Get a strategic plan in place to start letting them manifest out. Come into that creative niche ability, the thing we have within us that we've lost because often we've chosen what is logically responsible over our own passions and creating because it looks irresponsible. But part of it is sometimes we have to get through what looks irresponsible to get that passion project forward, that creative project that could not have been built if we didn't become irresponsible. Just a thought, because I'm going to say I'm very irresponsible now, and irresponsible in ways that back 20 years ago, I would have been losing my mind on being this way. And now I'm like, this is the only way through it. And I'm just going to have to do it this way. And my old self would find it irresponsible. My new self is like, this is just how it has to work. So thinking and changing our perspective and our limitations, that is part of it. And that is definitely highly aligned. And the creativity, the sparks, the ideas, the excitement for life, I feel has been lost for a lot of us and is coming back. If you're open to it and being able to make those steps even through the fear. And if you need some help, being visible, because we're very fearful of being seen. Being seen is, I think, almost scarier than most people thinking about death. Public speaking is scary because you're being seen, and we need to start being seen. You need to start being visible, start getting past the discomfort of how you even see yourself. As I guarantee, however you see yourself is not how anybody else is going to see yourself. Some people might see you worse because then you get those trolls. Some people might think that you're way better. So you never know because you don't live in everybody else's perspective, right? So what is lost is coming back. And that's the energy for Tuesday, Wednesday. Let's continue. Going into Thursday, Friday, April 9th and 10th. We jump into the numerology. We've got universal days 5 and 6. So 5 on Thursday brings movement, adaptability, and a desire for freedom. It encourages exploring new ideas, changing direction, and stepping outside familiar patterns. I just said comfort zone. I was like, I didn't even know that because I did go over them, but I do not have these dates memorized. I know the energy feeling overall for the week, but I do not memorize these. So stepping outside of our familiar patterns comes up on Thursday. And that's also when we'll have our second class for our visibility engine. Keep that in mind. Universal day 6, that would be coming into Friday. We're more focused on harmony, nurturing, responsibility, and it encourages people to start taking care of their relationships, environment, and the quality of what they're creating. So what are you creating? And that might come up with what I said from the day before, where we want that balance, the relationship balance, the balance with our life and our work, feeling like it's meaningful and it's not a fighting. Like, we don't want our relationships fighting our work. We don't want our work to fight the relationships. We want our own passions to also fit in. We want we want and we do deserve to have the full package. We are meant to have this life. We're meant to have a life that is conducive, that we can make money using our inherent skills that can help other people and not conflict with having a good life with our family. We're not working and selling our soul for hundreds of hours to barely make ends meet, to not see our family because we're too busy working to give them these things that we think are important that may not even be that important. Fair enough, if your child is extremely talented in music or sport, going and justifying how you have to make extra money to assist them to go through their learning to excel in that, great. But there's a lot of ways you can do that outside the normal. So we got to get really past these limitations of how we think of what we're creating things. And that is what I think we're definitely going to see more through Thursday, Friday. Taking care of the relationships, the environment, the quality of what we are creating and wanting it to be holistic. And maybe that's an utopian idea. I do believe it's possible. First off, you have to want it, your spouse needs to want it, and your child. You need to all be part of it. And then it's like, as I was explaining, my style of homeschooling is like consultative. I don't homeschool. My daughter knows that there's certain things that need to happen, but she works with it. Like, we work together. We find things. If she's not going to do something, I'm not going to print it off. I'm not going to force her to do it. It's not worth my time and energy. She's frustrated. I'm frustrated. Nobody wins. And she doesn't win. And she doesn't learn anything when she's not interested in the subject. And that's okay. And that's changing a belief of where, okay, you have to go to school from this age to learn these things. A lot of the things that I was made to learn, well, they're not even learning it now in the system, and was a waste of my time. A waste of my time. I didn't know there was all these other ways you could make money, or these potential ways that would be coming. And so the way the education system was set up was for a very different reality than we're going into. It was built for people to be in the industrial revolution or revolution, I guess, industrial, where you had to work in factories or in these jobs and cuticles and be 9 to 5. That's not a reality anymore. Like even the younger generation sees it, that even if they get a job in that, the job's not, they don't care about you. You are easily disposable for profit. And that is a learning that I don't think a lot of older generations really understand, because they were able to keep a job and ride it out to retirement, and they think that's a stable thing that's realistic for the next generation under us, and it's not. In 2006, being from Canada, we had Paul Martin, who was the finance minister at that time, told me, and I was in my 20s, that there would be no Canada pension plan for me to retire. So I've never believed that I had a pension in my reality and in my future. And it's very, very clear if you follow it and how corrupt and what they've done to it. There is no pension. It's been sold off. It's been demolished. It's been sold off. If Alberta separates, good luck getting your money from Canada. Canada will have to sell whatever resources in itself, probably to the States, to then have money to pay out Alberta. Like, I'm just saying. That's a whole side note. But we are wanting that balance that our life, our environment, our family, what is important to us can all work together. And that is possible. We have to get past limiting beliefs. And a lot of it might be the belief of doing everything right. And adulting might be actually a limiting belief. Something to put out there. Being an adult might be limiting your beliefs. Now, as we continue into the elemental field for Thursday, Friday, the 9th and the 10th, Western, we're going from Capricorn to Aquarius, and Vedic, we're going from Sagittarius to Capricorn. So the elements are the fire, earth, air. So we're kind of more the ideas again at the beginning, but now we're grounding it, and we're feeling the air kind of start to work in the background, if that makes sense. So I feel like before I go into the field, let me explain what the Vedic shows. So the moon in Sagittarius under Vedic, and going into Capricorn, the Sagittarius energy is that philosophical exploration. So maybe that exploration, that doing everything right in adulting might be our limitation. Maybe just that idea is something you're going to reflect on. But whatever our philosophical exploration is, growth, optimism, that type of stuff is coming up. Then we jump into the Capricorn under the Vedic, which is going to hold many people to feel a natural pull towards discipline, responsibility, and a desire to channel inspirations into structured achievements. Encouraging that practical focus, that ambition, the desire to build with intention. So again, we're building something, creating, we're getting all those ideas. What was lost, our creative energy is coming back. It's being found, right? And we have by the time we get into the April 10th, that's Friday night, the energy elevates to expand, where people are going to feel the shift from personal ambition into collective awareness. So it's thinking not only about what you want to achieve, but how it'll serve the larger vision. So again, your larger vision, what you want to achieve, how it's going to affect you and the relationships, but also what you want to achieve and what you want to offer and how you can help other people in the collective, in the realm of seeing things in a different perspective or offering them a product. Because maybe there's some people here that have created something wonderful and you want to be seen. First off, if it uses any type of technology that puts at risk the existing technologies for how we fuel energy in any way, shape, or form, whether it's solar, wind, natural, because that's not fossil. Fossil fuels are not real. They're not fossil fuels, but we'll say natural resources like oil, gas. If you've created some technology, like the person who created a water-powered vehicle and could travel across the US on one tank of water. Do not trademark it. Do not become visible immediately and start being visible. Do not trademark it. Become visible, start pushing your message, and make sure people know you exist. Don't trademark it. That will equal a shorter life expectancy. So, Whatever your idea is, if you've got those good big ideas, I'm just saying don't trademark it. Don't tell the government. Don't go to any system and tell them you've created it. Go right to the people that you want to see your creation and help you build it. Now, as we continue, that the combined view, or sorry, the Western view is the moon is in Capricorn, which is purposeful contribution. So again, how it's affecting the collective. So we've got that same energy in the Western, and the ideas are forming on how we're ready to serve beyond our individual, right? So again, on the whole, what do we do? What can we do that helps people everywhere? And probably if you want to find people everywhere, you have to be visible. You have to be visible. Like if you're going to help people everywhere and want the bigger vision, you're going to have to be visible and get a structure. And if you're not motivated to figure the structure out yourself and putting that energy in, that's where we're helping you. Okay, so the combined strongest energy is, again, where practical ambition is evolving into collective purpose. That's what we're going to feel. The combination of Capricorn's commitment and Aquarius's visionary perspective is that people are going to see their personal effort as part of a larger, more meaningful whole. So we're starting to maybe get past what it's just us, right? Wanting that meaning back into how we are one. Like humanity is one species. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter. I'm sure there's some humans that may not be full humans, but you count if you've got part DNA as humans. So I'm reaching out to the non-humans there as well. If you have any humanity DNA, you're human. We'll give you that. We'll give you that you're part human. And we want a meaningful purpose back in humanity, right? I think about it, and the thing that came to my mind was those refills. This seems so random. It does. But what comes to my mind is people doing, like, especially TikTok. This seems to be, I don't go on TikTok, but I watch people do compilations on YouTube, okay? And they'll highlight all these people doing restocking and how out of hand restocking is. They're buying things in little packages to put them in new packages to have more packaging, because now you got to clean those packages after, and you still threw out the package it came in. We kind of have a package problem. Some of the things are just quite ridiculous, or it's like color oriented or whatever. And it's like very aesthetic. And then they'll have the nails and they'll do the click, click, click or whatever. And it's just like, who is that serving? That's not serving the consciousness. It's not serving the collective. It's literally, well, I have this. This is how you should be doing it. I don't feel that that is a collective thing. I think that actually does more damage to the collective of unrealistic goals, and then makes people feel like they're not good enough because I can't do a restock for St. Patrick's Day that's all green. Oh my God, my fridge, I open it up and I've got different colors, my God, and it's supposed to be green. Or Easter, I don't have Easter everywhere, right? Like, we're getting out of that consumerism. We are turning away from that, how it looks, right? That had a purpose. There was a purpose we went through, and it was like the 90s to the 2010s, maybe peaked around COVID times. And now we're changing where it's like it's not about what we have anymore. What can you offer the collective? How can you help the collective? That is the change that's happening. It's not about you anymore. The individualization is like, yeah, it's about you to a level, because you're always going to care about yourself, and you should care about yourself, because if you don't care about your body and you being in your body, no, like, yes, but it's the bigger vision that is going to be the motivation. And that's also probably why we've lost it, is because when we were thinking of things in a small compact of only me, and me success, me, not you, me success, only success of ourselves, I think that's where we're finding more difficulty, is everything was about just yourself, not about others. And when it's now more about everyone and succeeding, so we're helping you succeed, and if you succeed even more than us, we've succeeded in helping you succeed if you do better than us, right? So we're not here to compete, we're here to help you, and we want to help you be seen, get your idea, and be part of the collective. Whether you have humor, because humor is very, very valuable now, whether you have a message, whether you have a product that I'm going to say don't trademark, but you want to show people what you've made, this type of stuff. So that is the energy as we go through Thursday, Friday. So what we might see collectively, imagining we'll see on the collective, is a shift from personal goals to the broader impact. We're going to see that also feeling that on our own personal level. On the collective, some people are going to be drawn to work that on what serves a community or a collective purpose. Now, again, be careful what you're going to be drawn to, right? Is it for the good collective? And I'm going to put that out there, going to the W to the A to the R. Is this going to help the collective? It could help a group of people, but is that going to help the collective? So keeping in mind that where you want to help, is it really helping? I don't know. And I don't know if being somebody to just do a task for somebody who's telling you to do a task, I have a lot of questions on who actually is benefiting from that type of stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there. When you get into those type of things, who is actually benefiting, and is it again just from an individual ambition, or really is this truthfully going to help humanity? I don't know. I can't answer those. But conversations of the ambition to the shared vision, my concern would just be we don't want to see a shared vision of more people being hurt. That would be my concern. That's not my shared vision. And something to consider as we see how the collective responds. And the collective does get bamboozled very easily. So that's the only reason I put that out there. And then again, we might see in the collective and imagine people feeling energized by an idea of contributing to something larger than themselves. So if something comes up and a lot of people are jumping onto that bandwagon, just keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Sometimes bandwagons are not the right place to be. Because it was interesting, as just a little example, my husband took a quick flight because we were both supposed to go to an event for YouTube in Los Angeles. We got accepted last minute, but we were already heading to the East Coast. And we didn't want to drive back and then drive. It didn't make sense. Sending him on a plane for less than 24 hours, fly in, fly out, made more sense to fly one of us. So he went there. And of course, we've been hearing all over the news about the lineups for security because of the shutdown and the funding and whatever, right? Didn't know what to expect. Well, interesting. So a lot of people all jumped on the bandwagon to get their TFS, whatever, TSA, transportation, whatever. They're pre-screening. There we go. Whatever that's called. So what ended up actually happening for my husband, we're not American. He didn't do it. He literally goes in and the lineup for the pre-screening is around the corner and there's nobody through the normal screening. He literally walked right through. So that just gives you the idea to keep in mind that when we are contributing something to the larger whole, think about the actions, maybe take a moment to perceive and gain some clarity on what does that actually mean? Right? What does that actually mean? I don't know. And sometimes being like, yeah, I'm going to help out with this. I'm going to do my part and get pre-screened actually didn't, just moved the jam from one area to another. So it's interesting perspective. I don't know what's right or wrong. I'm just going to say, keep in mind, you still got to use your logic and your intuition and deep into your intuition about those exciting things of how you want to contribute. I want you to contribute. I want you to be seen. But again, keeping in mind, how are you contributing? And what is the goal of how you want to contribute to the reality that you want to create? Now, how we might imagine our personal selves and might go through very similar. We're inspired to think about how our work or creativity will serve others. So again, being inspired by that as we come through Thursday, Friday. Bringing personal vision into a structured or public form. So again, we're starting to be seen. And if we need a little bit of a schedule, some help with that, reach out. That's what we're here for. We also will feel in our personal selves a sense of renewal connected with our gifts and our contributions, as well as many people might also see in their personal lives that they're thinking collectively rather than individually, right? Just a sense of relief and direction. Where do we want to go? Now, how we might make it through Thursday, Friday is be flexible as energy and ideas shift. So be flexible. This keeps coming up. We got to get flexible. We got to be okay with taking new information. We've got to learn to embrace adaptability, embrace change, embrace the fact that nothing will ever be the same, and new information can change that at any moment. Flexible with the energies and the idea shifts. Just making sure I found where I was. And then again, how we might make it through. So being flexible again, idea shifts. Bending, being able to be that strong tree that in that 100-kilometer-hour winds just flows, doesn't break. And then allow practical focus to help you take concrete steps to something meaningful. You want to make those steps and start thinking about a personal vision that's connected to the broader purpose. So if you haven't, it might be coming now as we come into next weekend, right? Because you're being inspired. So you're hearing things. So this might be also the week where you're just kind of fine tuning a lot of those ideas too. And then you might imagine as you make it through Thursday, Friday, that you're welcoming the Aquarius energy, and it helps you elevate your thinking. So bring thinking in a bigger perspective outside the limitations. Outside limitations. Let's pull a card. Let's pull for Thursday, Friday, and then we're going to finish up with when we meet again next weekend, coming into our weekly reading next Sunday, the 12th. Celebration. Here we go. Celebration. Get ready to let your hair down and celebrate. It's time to go out to dance and play. An invitation could be on the way. So by the time we get to Thursday, Friday, it does feel like we got that celebration. We're inspired, right? Like that's the big thing. We're inspired to work on how we might be really working with other people and celebrating with them, that we've got some new ideas. Maybe we're celebrating with the new inspirations that we've gotten, right? Like we're letting our hair down. We're excited. We're going to be invited to something. The opportunities are going to show themselves. Friday might be a really good day to just go and just celebrate the fact that you've made it to this point and have a great idea. Take it as easy as that. Celebrate that going idea and that you're committed and you have a plan. So if you've joined us for the Visibility Engine, I'm going to say Friday. That'll be your celebrate that you've committed, that you're going to get these 30 videos started and start getting visible. Okay, jumping into Saturday and Sunday, April 11th and 12th. So we go back to the numerology, the days 7 and 8. So 7 brings introspection on Saturday, spiritual awareness, desire for understanding, and invites people to look under the surface, trusting their inner knowing and seeking meaning that goes beyond what you visually see. So more meaning than what we're told, right? Very much like that. If the W to the A to the R is your inspiration, we might want to look beneath the surface. That's coming up on Saturday in that energy. Trusting how you get what your gut says to you about that. And seek meaning that is beyond the visible. Seek that meaning. You've got it. You were born with every guidance internally. You do know. When you get into Sunday, when we meet again, it'll be 11:11 Eastern. If you're on the East Coast, which I will be, East Coast further, it'll be 12:11 p.m. So it's already afternoon when I get live here. And then 10:11 Central, 9:11 Mountain, 8:11 Pacific time next Sunday on the platform. Always going live very, very soon after with YouTube. Substack kind of shows up. I post it after. Shows up pretty much on Facebook and on TikTok, that's the word. It should be pretty much shows up within that time. Rumble seems to have a delay, but I will go live at 11:11 Eastern, whatever time that is. You'll see me pop up on some platform within a couple minutes. On some platform. Okay, so then when we move to Universal Day 8 on Sunday, The tone is empowered and results oriented. So people are encouraged to step into authority, meaningful decisions, and act with confidence that you've gathered. So you're starting to learn about why you want to be invisible. You're taking those steps and you're like, I can do it. I'm my biggest cheerleader. I can do it. The elements, so as you go into them, with the Western astrology, we have Aquarius is where the moon sits. It does enter Pisces like early on the 13th. So it doesn't, so we might get some energies late on the 12th, Sunday night. And then the Vedic, we've got Capricorn into Aquarius, and that hits Aquarius earlier on Sunday afternoon. But that brings in earth and air elements for Saturday and Sunday. So again, grounding and thinking what's possible. So in the Vedic lens, with the moon in Capricorn for most of the period, and then Aquarius late on Sunday evening, it encourages discipline, ambition, steady effort, and the Aquarius influence emerges collective shifts in our original thinking, awareness. And we're going to feel a desire to break free from limitations in pursuit of our higher vision. So whatever our limitations are, we're going to find some way about it. I know how that works. I've completely ran into limitations with where my app is being held. I am currently maneuvering it all over in making sure I've got a back end, making sure I've got that moved over. So it's all steady. I now realize with the limitations, I have to legitimately go and do the coding myself. I've been avoiding this. I bachelor's of science in computer information systems. I graduated in 2003. It's 20 years is my university degree. And forced, actually, well, it's minus 1 year. 25 years I didn't. I started being forced by this app because I started wanting to work on it and I started having to. Now I full on have to go in the back end and make things work. I have to accept that I took my programming, so I understood coding 23 years ago-ish, so that at this point in time, it has relevance. So there you go. And then as we continue going into the astrology for the did I do the Vedic? The Vedic, yes, was the moving past the limitations, right? And we do see that again in Western as well, because the collective energy is visionary, idealistic, and calling people towards possibilities rather than mere practical. So again, like that shows up in both the Western and the Vedic, but also in the Western, it brings independence, motivation, and forward-thinking awareness to original ideas, humanitarian perspectives, and a desire to continue with broader meaning, going into that visionary, idealistic, calling people to what's possible. So again, we're breaking free of these limitations. We're tired of limitations. We've lived a limiting belief. Like adulting, in my opinion, that's why I'm going to say it again, is a limiting belief. I'm an adult. I have to do this. And I think that's also why a lot of people, when they get into their midlife crisis, is because adulting and that limiting belief of the adulting messes them up, but they don't realize the real lies is that they've been living a limiting belief. And then when they start exploring, which usually means they destroy their own lives, different ways, because often they destroy them by like just divorcing their spouse and stuff like that, which I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to deal with that, but there is some point of where their life does kind of start to break down. And that's where I've been. That's where we've been, where you literally can't build anything new if the structure's not sound. And our limiting beliefs have rotted our core. So all of these limiting beliefs have to be removed back down to like ground level. Maybe we're going to dig and put a basement this time, or maybe we're going to dig deeper to put our columns or base or whatever. But we're tired of the limiting beliefs that have kept us in these little boxes. And so combined overall energy is disciplined ambition opening into inspired collective vision, The earth to air is encouraging people to take what they've built and release it into something with a broader reach and purpose. So if you're doing something that is to help other people, you want a broader reach and a broader purpose, this is the calling, is to start this now. And being visible is going to help you be visible. I'm going to put this one more time out here. Join our Grow Your Visibility webinar. We're showing up on all our platforms as well for the next couple days. YouTubefamous.com. Can't even make it here. Let me type a message. I am YouTubefamous.com. Let me make sure I spell it right. That will take you right to this website. And then you can register for the visibility engine here. You can go and get access to the webinar to find out more about it. This is divinely timed. It's going to really assist you with what you want to go forward with. And especially since everyone's going to want to be seen. Got a message? You want to be seen. Okay. Now, how we make it through and imagining what we're going to see when we come into next weekend. So finishing up for Saturday, Sunday, the collective, we might imagine the desire to connect our work to our larger mission, same theme as we've already seen. We're thinking unconventionally or challenging our established patterns. Like, what if I stop doing this? Let's see. What if I stop participating in this way? Let's see. Everything, it's interesting when you do start living in an unconventional way and challenging your established beliefs and go, well, what if I just don't participate and do this? What if I just don't do this? And you start testing things. It's amazing how many things don't even actually matter. Don't even matter, right? So being informed, does that really help you? I don't know, because being informed and then getting on the pre-check list made you wait longer than if you were like my husband and just like, I'm just going to wing it, see how long it takes me. And he got to walk through. Being informed might actually be a limiting belief. Just say it, putting it out there. I'm here to, everything's a limiting belief. We live in a limiting belief. Gravity is a limiting belief. If I don't believe gravity exists, which there's a whole thing of like gravity not being really the way we understand it, and that they don't really understand gravity, because I don't even believe it's actually the way it is. That's a limiting belief. So there you go. Because if we believe that everything that falls must go down because of gravity, and then we see technology where it's legitimately the reverse, well, we've limited our beliefs that that technology exists, but it is a real technology. Because anybody who sees UAPs, all these things, their technology is against our limitations. Because their technology should technically not work based on the limiting beliefs we've been programmed. Had to add some alien. Okay, so collectively, we're going to see more unconventional thinking and challenging established patterns. Conversations might shift on the collective to what's possible in the future versus what's existing today. We're just looking at possibilities. We're done with the past. And a lot of people might feel more of a meaningful sense of clarity and direction to go forward. So just more a clear direction where they need to go. On our personal lives, we might imagine being, again, manifesting, sharing our idea, vision, perspective that might sound really crazy. It might be ahead of time, might be really crazy. We're sharing it. But again, do be wary of who you share. If you have somebody who's like really a negative Nancy or a Karen, or I don't know, me and my husband had a discussion. Is it as a Karen male a Kevin, or is it a Neil, or is it what it is? Tell me in the, leave me a comment. Let me know what the male version of Karen, what that name is. I'm sorry, Karens that aren't Karens. Anyways, be cautious of who you just share your idea, vision, or perspective with. That if they are going to poo-poo on your idea, that you're not going to be hurt by it, that it's not going to stop you from wanting to create it. You can share with whoever you want, but be prepared if they give you some non-positive feedback or reaction, that you're not going to be hurt by it, right? And then you might also feel a renewed sense of purpose to your contribution and what you've got as your inspired idea. And a lot of people, as this week closes, they feel like some things are starting to be clear. They're getting a clearer path. They're starting to see. It's lighting. It's like, oh, the light is lighting the path. We're stuck at this junction and the path is finally lit. We've been like, thank you. Where have been the lighting? It's been freaking dark in here. Somebody turn this freaking light on. Now, how to make it through Saturday, Sunday when we meet again. Again, Sunday, 11:11 Eastern. Same time, same place, wherever you see me, or you can just watch it to be uploaded when I'm done. So we allow ourselves time to reflect before going forward. So give yourself some time to really digest and think about what you're doing before you go into some actions. Another way is trust your insights, especially when you're reflecting and you're by yourself. Allow yourself to really trust those insights. You're your best guide. You are the one you've been waiting for. You just have to turn on your ability to listen to yourself again. What was lost is being found. Turning on that intuition, turning in that gut instinct is coming back. That's how I feel that shows up. Step into decisions with confidence of somebody who has done their inner work. You've done it. You're going forward with confidence. You know you can create it. And welcome the shift towards collective thinking as an invitation to see your path in a wider context. So bringing this in is just seeing where you are in the bigger realm of life. You know, that you are not meaningless. There is meaning to you existing. We all bring value and meaning to the collective. So let's pull our card for Saturday and Sunday and what the message that guides would like us to have. Actually, we'll just do it as a summary, Saturday, Sunday, and kind of what they want us to know as we finish up the week. So the summary as we come through the end of the week and making it through. Fairy spotting. It's saying that energy is there. Our fairies are here to help us. So it's time to go fairy spotting. It's said that seeing is believing, but the fact is opposite true. Believing is seeing. There's believing is seeing. Like, this is our thing. If we start to see these limitations of our limitations, that is the believing. We now believe these limitations, so we can now break them because we didn't see these limitations before. I feel like that is very appropriate. But it is really about seeing is believing is not necessarily true anymore too. I brought this up because we've pulled this card before, where AI is getting so convincing. People think they're seeing people and they're not people, or they have so many filters, like the filter problem in China. Like, they've started banning filters because they were so bad. People are being bamboozled out of life savings in like their version of OnlyFans, and it's awful. It's awful. Like, the fact that we feel like we have to hide behind who we truly are, that we can't be seen for who we are, that we're scared of it, right? And we need to embrace how imperfect we are as humans, because AI is perfect. And AI, I'm sure, will start looking imperfect, and then they'll start making it look, but if it looks completely wrong, there's going to be a level where I feel like it's going to become apparent. They haven't quite mirrored imperfect people yet. That's all I can say. Have not mirrored imperfect people yet. Okay, so let's summarize up the week so we know where we're sitting. And hello, I don't know, some screen names. If you would like a reading, I'll pull a card for you after I'm done. I'll pull one quick card to give you a little bit of guidance. However, I do recommend to check out my app, because there is also a part where you can pull your own card in my app. My app is a platform. This is what I've been told by AIs. I'm not creating an app. I am creating a platform that is very transformational, because no one else is doing it, because they're not thinking in holistic ways of how to see life. When you see patterns in numerology, elements, and astrology, and then even in human design, which is going to be added as well, there is ways that we can use this to help us. And each of these different esoteric, or not even esoteric, but each of these different things offer something of benefit, and we can learn and use them to help us make better decisions and help guide us. So I'm literally making a platform. Not promoting it at this moment, but it is in the description if you want to become a beta tester on the Awakened Light app, which is really a platform. But how the weekly goes, we're moving from water, which is our emotional depth and inner truth, to fire, which is that vision, the expansion, inspired movement. By the midweek, we're grounding those visions. We're starting to look for structure. Again, that visibility engine, if you want some guidance in the structure, and discipline and commitment. That's what we really want. And that's going to help feel like we've won, because we want to have that in place. And then as we close on air, we're elevating into the collective awareness and how what we're offering is going to help collectively. And collectively can be as few, like maybe the collective for you and how many people you're going to really affect is like 100 people. But those 100 people affect 10,000, 10 million people, right? We don't get, it's a butterfly effect idea, right? Like how much when we affect somebody, we might only affect a handful of people, but the reverberation, the frequency, it rates out to so many more. And then that increases you to be seen more and more and more, especially if you have something that helps a lot of people. And never underestimating how important we are. But the one thing to watch for that I wanted to note before we ended the week is when we transition from water to fire earlier in the week, there is a moment where a sudden realization will come up and we'll have a clear direction. Pay attention to those moments, because those are going to help give you the clarity to the action you want to take. So that would be the only thing, is watch for those aha moments as they come through, because it's going to show you your deepest clarity that you carry, and the very thing that's going to fuel the most meaningful movement forward. So if you feel like you don't have meaning this week, there is going to be signs. Not going to say that signs are easy. They're not necessarily always easy. You will have them. And the fairies are there, got your back, and they're believing. You got to start believing. And it's not only seeing what you can believe, it's like believing the things, like believing in yourself and being able to create something. Believing in yourself enough to get a consistent routine to show up and start making a footprint in the noisy interwebs, right? And having a plan that you can commit to. Believing in yourself. Okay, so I'll pull a message for Roteg, person that wanted to come reading. And I'm sure this will help anybody that is looking for a random guidance for this week with my viewer here. This is for all of you and your message if you are watching at this moment. Wisdom. Oh, I love the green. I want more green. It's more green here than some parts of Canada, but it's still snowed. It's still cold. Wisdom. Have you ever been told that you're wise beyond your years? Now is the time to call upon your inner fairy wisdom to help you with a challenge. So again, it's that wisdom. Wisdom is going to help you through this week. Wisdom is the guidance the guides have. Like, use your divine intelligence, your connection, your wisdom. Take those moments to reflect and contemplate how you can go forward in making things more balanced and meaningful. I'm not going to say it's easy, because a lot of those inspirations might seem daunting. And if you do come to something that you're inspired and you feel that daunting heaviness, like, wow, that just seems overwhelming, like I could never do this. I don't want to say don't, because find a way to allow yourself to avoid being shut down from that. Because there's things in my life, if I had been told that you were going to do this, this, and this, and this, and told the steps, there's no way I would have taken the first step forward, because all those actions seem too wide and too big. Hindsight, looking back, I'm like, I've done all these actions over this period of time that I naturally followed in my direct timing to manifest out. But it was like keeping the goal in mind, but not worrying about the details, because allowing the details that need to be presented and dealt with show up in the right timing as well. That is wisdom. Wisdom of your inner knowing. So on that, I'm going to finish up. I and let everybody go. I hope you have a wonderful rest of Easter Monday, wherever you, or Sunday and Monday, wherever you are, if you celebrate Easter, or just a beautiful weekend into this new week. And listen for that message. If you want to be seen and you have something you want to share, do check out our visibility engine. I will give one last little call out here to show. Again, go to IamYouTubeFamous.com. You can register for it. We'll send you the link. You can watch it, what it's all about. And then you can also register here and join us. Tomorrow we go live with that in our first class. And the last one I'm going to share here, just a reminder, if you do want more guidance for the month of April, you can check out my shop. And this is the Breathe Dash Within Dash Breathe Dash Within Dash Yoga dash shop.fourthwall.com. You can, it's also in my description, the link, and you can check out the Clarify Your Direction for April. This is a print off and it gives you a lot of guidance of what is coming during the month. I do also have on my digital downloads as well, a 6-month forecast, which if you are wanting a little more information on where we're going, this is our Stay Oriented March to August, and it is a larger guide that covers a bunch of stuff that's not covered and gives you more the integration of how the months flow. It's really, really good. Lots and lots of different details that I cover in there as well. So those are some tools I've got for you if you are interested and need a little bit of guidance April and onwards. Or again, become a beta tester. And if you can find the link, then you win. Find the link, apply. If you make it like legitimately you apply, I'm going to give you beta tester. All you have to do is fill out the form. That's my screening. I'm holding you accountable to filling out a form. On that, I will see you guys same time, same channel next week, 11/11 Sunday. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, Rumble, and TikTok I go live on, and then they will be reposted on those social medias as well. So have a great one, and thank you again for joining, and I will see everybody next week. And thank you again for joining. Have a great Easter. Have a good night.